Hi there. My name's Troy Hudson, and I work for the NASA Jet Propulsion Laboratory. And I've been a friend of your Aunt Leigh since high school when we were in band together. And she asked me to make a video for you guys. So Seth, Leo, and Jack, here's a message for you as you take your tour around the world with your family, which is awesome. I know Leigh's doing this weekly show for you, and she asked me to talk a little bit about what I do and how I got there, and I'm happy to do it. So I'm going to look at some of the questions that she sent me. So she said, "You've known since you were little you wanted to be the first person on Mars," and it's true. I really did, or one of the first. I really wanted to go to Mars. And now you're as close as you could be with the InSight mission. What drew you to space and Mars specifically as a kid? If you guys don't know, InSight is a Mars lander. It's our most recent one. It arrived there this past Thanksgiving, and right now it's in the process of putting a seismometer on Mars to listen for Mars quakes, and then a heat flow probe, which is this thing here, which is the instrument I worked on, that'll dig down into the ground and take Mars's temperature. But anyway, so what drew me to space? When I was growing up, there was Carl Sagan had his Cosmos series on TV, and there's a new version of that with Neil deGrasse Tyson, which is also awesome. But my mother was a big fan of Sagan. And then there was Voyager, the Voyager spacecraft, doing a grand tour of the solar system, passing by all the outer planets and seeing them in a way that we've never seen before. The space shuttle program was taking off, literally, when I was a kid. So all of these things conspired, and just my love of learning and figuring out how things work. I just had people read the captions on interesting pictures in magazines and books to me, and then when I could read them myself, I just ate it all up. I've been a space geek from way back, and part of that you can see by this tattoo on my arm is the solar system. It is a map of the solar system at the time of my birth. So this shows you the exact moment when I was born, where all the planets and their major satellites were located. And Mars specifically, I guess because it's very similar to Earth. It's it's got weather, it's got sand dunes and canyons and volcanoes. It's got an atmosphere, but it's really thin. And it's a place that we can go to. We sent the Viking spacecraft in the 70s, and we've been sending spacecraft continuously since the mid-90s. So that just became interesting. And I also love rocks. I'm a geology nut. I have lots of minerals around my house and rocks and stones and stuff, and I just love going out into the mountains and seeing rocks. So there's that. Was it hard to keep your eye on the goal? Do you ever feel like you wouldn't be able to do it? Were there some of the challenges you faced getting to this point? Yeah, it's been hard, but it's been fun. A lot of school, but again, I love learning, and going and learning how things work and learning to figure stuff out. That's always just fun for me. There was something when I was in second grade. There was a big disaster, a bad event with the Challenger shuttle, and a number of astronauts died, and that really affected me. Made me feel, I don't know, my interest shifted for a little bit from space to other sciences, like oceanography or botany, looking at plants, or even archaeology. All these things, I kind of investigated them and read about them, but then ultimately I came back to space. When I was in high school, actually, I went to space camp, and 3 times. And that was awesome, and convinced me that, yeah, space is where I want my job to be. Even if I never get to be an astronaut, I'll get to, work as close as possible. I'm virtually on Mars, and that's amazing. What do you think it means to be an explorer? How do you feel being one? It's amazing. Being the first, or one of the first, because there's a huge team of people who make this happen, one of the first people to see the data, the images, and the information coming back from these instruments. It's exciting and makes me feel special. But I like being part of the team that makes it possible to get that data. The engineers create the spacecraft and help make the instruments that collect the data, and then the scientists take that data and discover and determine facts about the universe, in this case Mars, and just being plugged into that process, and in particular kind of bridging that world between science and engineering, which is kind of what I do, is great. I like being able to speak both languages and make them work together. To be an explorer is to learn. It's to go into the unknown and come away from it knowing at least a part of it. You may not know everything, and as you guys are going off and going around the world, you are going to get the kind of exposure that most people never get. You're going to see things, you're going to learn things. Even if you don't think of it, it will affect you, and it will become part of you. And I'm a little jealous, actually. I think you guys are going to have a great time. What does insight mean to me? This is a project I've been on for 10 years. I was involved with it when it was just a piece of paper that we sent to NASA and said, we'd like to do this. It was a little book. Then we made a really even bigger book. And then NASA said, yes, we like your proposal, we think it's good, we're going to send you money. And we started, building the real thing. And to see that whole process from the very beginning, all the way through to this point where we're finally doing it, we're finally taking the data, we're on Mars, it's amazing. And I just couldn't be happier. It's thrilling, and I'm also getting this chance on these social media platforms to talk to people about science. And if you can't tell, I love this stuff. I love talking about science and my work, and it's just, insight means a lot to me. It's really a and when this thing landed on Mars, major defining moment in my life. So happy. Are you afraid of the unknown? No. Not at all. It matters, if you know anything about something, if you have information that tells you it's dangerous, then you're justified in being afraid or concerned or taking steps to make it less dangerous. But if it's just unknown, if you know nothing about it, go learn, go explore. The universe itself is neither a good or a bad place. It's kind of indifferent to us. The universe doesn't work for us. It's not against us, it's not for us, it just is. And it's up to us to work with the rules of reality and make things better for ourselves. And in order to do that, we need to learn, and that means going into the unknown. Anything additional, she asks. And I just want to say, if you guys have any questions, whether they're related to insight, or Mars, or science in general, or how I got where I am, please ask. Ask Leigh, she'll ask me, and I'll make a video. Maybe I'll even make a public video and talk about whatever your questions are. So I just want to say again to Seth and Leo and Jack, thank you for being excited about this stuff. Thank you, Leigh, for asking me. I'm flattered and honored, and hope you guys have an awesome time. And keep exploring, always.